says, oh yeah, he got home yesterday.
No.
Oh.
Hey guys. Okay, today we will be watching another Memoirs of World War II. This one is Losing Friends in Combat. I don't know what to expect. I hope I don't cry. But yeah, let's go ahead and start watching.
Whenever you're in war, you hate to lose them. No matter how close you were to them, it rubs off your back like grease. You hate it to happen, but you don't think about it. You can't think about it.
Huh. That song's gonna get me copyrighted.
As the Second World War reached its pinnacle throughout Europe and the Pacific, Arlen White anxiously awaited the day when he would be old enough to join the United States Armed Forces. Even his childhood friend, Johnny Martin, had already left for Europe with the airborne.
Johnny Martin was my closest friend. About every one of my buddies was 2 years older than I, and they were all gone. I just couldn't wait. Whenever my papers come home, man, I call back home. I said, oh, I'm in the Army now. I'm just happy as I could be.
Arlen fell in with the 97th Infantry Division.
It's really interesting to see, like, especially when you look at the commentary of, I guess, the difference in the views, or well, even if you just look at it historically and just through, I guess, papers and stuff, you see the numbers, like you see the amount of volunteers that volunteered for World War II, and then you see like Korea, Vietnam, right? Yeah, all these numbers, and you just really get to see just how World War II, obviously because they were fighting against the Nazis and then Japanese imperial conquest, and how just like the attitude and stuff, right? It's just, I don't really know how to explain more on that. It's just, I don't know. I find that kind of stuff kind of interesting. Because obviously there were, I don't know what I'm saying. I really don't. I had a thought in my mind and then I lost it. So
And was sent to the South Pacific to join the fight against Japan. But meanwhile, on the other side of the world, the Battle of the Bulge was coming to an end, and staggering numbers of Allied casualties demanded that portions of the 97th be reassigned to Western Europe. By March of 1945, Arlen found himself right in the middle of an accelerated pursuit of German forces toward Berlin. But the 97th slowed to a halt when they reached the city of Dusseldorf, where fierce enemy fire had the Americans pinned down.
We had a very, very brave captain. That captain come running down the road, firing a submachine gun, yelling, come on, guys, come on. He didn't just say, come on, guys. He said pretty strong. Well, we followed him. To my left, there was a motorcycle with a sidecar. And I opened up with my machine gun, but I was just a shade behind them. And they went into this building. It looked like an old barn. And I followed with my bullets going through that barn and out the other side. And that's what we was doing when the white flag come up.
The two Germans walked out with arms raised. Found within the barn were several more surrendering Germans, weapons, and secret military documents. But Arlen couldn't hang around long enough to learn the contents of these documents, as he and the 97th continued into the streets of Dusseldorf.
There was 3 of us guys that stuck together, David, Nemo, and Green, and myself. So after it was quieted down, we decided to go looking for snipers. Nemo was on my left, Green on my right, me in the center of this road. And all of a sudden I heard what sounded like one shot.
A bullet hit the ground directly in front of Arlen. He had been spotted by a sniper. But the shot that he heard was not from his would-be killer. Green, spotting the German sniper just as he took the shot, immediately returned with his own fire.
Huh.
2 bullets. One bullet hit my feet and the other hit the German in the face.
Wow. Dang. Good shot on
Shaken,
that American
but
guy.
more cautiously aware, the men continued through the city. Only a few blocks further, out of the corner of his eye, Arlen caught a glimpse of a machine gun barrel in a window.
We were so dead, it was pathetic. And I yelled, hit it. We hit for sides. And one of their men came with his hands locked behind his head, wanted to surrender. I said, well, that's so wonderful. I mean, they could have cut us to pieces immediately, but they decided they wanted to surrender.
Within the building, the 3 Americans captured heavy machine guns, mortars, 2 officers, and more than a dozen soldiers, all more than ready for their part in the war to be over.
So
Yeah, they're probably tired.
with
at that
Nemo
point.
on the rear, Green on the one side, and me in the lead, we took them in to camp.
As they made their way across the Rhineland, the Allies found the surrender of German forces to be an increasingly common occurrence. But when a small platoon of the 97th was tasked with a scouting mission in the German countryside, Arlen would learn that not every enemy was so prepared to lay down their weapons.
Lead
Yeah.
scout was John Gerling, and he was a good friend of mine. He told me that he had to go up that water. Well, him and the ones following him and a lieutenant all went up that water. And whenever they come out, John was first. And that son of a bitch cut him in half. And then he ran out and threw his hands up and, I surrender, I surrender. And that stupid lieutenant let him live.
Wow.
Well, that's the end of my story. I won't talk anymore.
Damn.
As the Allies neared Berlin and Germany's defeat was on the horizon, the 97th Infantry came across a rugged group of American soldiers who had recently been liberated from a German prison camp. Amid their conversation, Arlen heard them mention a paratrooper named Johnny Martin. Arlen had heard rumors that his childhood friend had been captured. Now was his chance to find out the truth.
I said, oh, you guys know whatever happened to Johnny Morton? He was captured. They shot him down and he was taken prisoner and taken back to this camp where they held him under guard. And they says, oh, Johnny tried to make escape and got killed. Well, that was all there was to that.
Damn.
Whenever you're in war, you hate to lose them, but you don't lose them like you and I being friends, and I was to see you shot or you killed, or that's a different story altogether. In combat, no matter how close you were to them, it rubs off your back like grease. You hate it to happen, but you don't think about it. You can't think about it.
It's tragic that soldiers literally have to think that way, right? If they want to, I guess, perform, they have to. They're essentially forced and pushed into a thinking that is honestly really unhealthy, where they have to, just like see their best. Let's say you go into the military with your childhood best friend. You're serving alongside in the same unit, in the same squad, and he gets shot down right in front of you. But because you are so exposed to death on a daily basis, his death, your childhood best friend's death, rubs off your back like grease, like he said. That is just terrifying to think about, like, being in that kind of, like, I guess, mental state. Like, the things soldiers have to be put through is...
After the war ended there, we lined up, played taps, say a lot of good things about the ones that had died, gave all their names. Then we all went home. Well, when I first come into port, I saw the Statue of Liberty. I said, honey, I'll never leave you again. My first day back home, walked into my dad, mother, and, oh, what took you so long? I said, we knew you when you left Europe. Talked a little bit. I said, it was really heck about Johnny Martin. He says, oh yeah? He got home yesterday.
No.
Oh.
Johnny Martin had been shot down, captured, and taken as a prisoner of war. But that was the extent of the rumor's truth. Although he had attempted escape, he was kept alive and eventually rescued.
Yes.
Woo. Well, I didn't let the door hit me. Ran right over there. We got together. Just our buddy.
Not a
Hey
sad...
everyone, I'm Josh from Memoirs.
Oh. Huh. A not so sad... A not a sad ending for Memoirs. Yes. Huh. Okay. Whew. All right. I don't really have anything else to add. I know these videos don't really get that many views, but I really like watching Memoirs of World War II, so I'm gonna keep doing it. Because I really, as I've stated before in videos like this, for me, hearing these stories from those that lived during the time period, during the events in history, is probably some of the best historiography there is. You know, hearing, right? There's obviously going to be bias because these people lived through these events and they're going to have their personal, opinion on what they went through. And I think bias isn't a bad thing, right? It helps you understand the individual, like, feelings and stuff, right? It really helps add to the history, in my opinion. But obviously the role of the historian is to take those people's stories or the bias that occurred in like the writing down or whatever of the histories of these events, and like sift through the bias and really pick out like whole truths or whatever, right? Like you take a German soldier's memoir and you take an American soldier's memoir. Let's say they were in the same battle, the same like conflict. Let's say you had a German soldier from Dusseldorf write down his memoirs, and then this man write down his memoirs of the battle at Dusseldorf, and you get those, you compare and contrast their experiences, right? And you can get a bigger understanding, a bigger picture of the Battle of Dusseldorf itself. That to me is what really makes these individual stories really important, as well as just like being a human being and empathizing with your fellow human. Right. Anyways, I have nothing else to add. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to leave a suggestion down below for what you would like to see me react to next. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good day. Thank you.